fanfiction. Just in. Community. Forum. More. Dragoncast Productions by Thechris24. How to Train Your Dragon and Chronicles of Narnia is overrated. English, Fantasy and Adventure, Hiccup, Astrid, Lucy Pevensey, Edmund Pevensey, Words, 17k plus, Favs, 1, Follows, 1, Published, June 23rd updated, July 27th. Chapter 1, Night Fury Chris. G'day casters, I'm back with a new fiction, and no, I'm not completely obsessed with HTDYD, it's just I had another idea for it that would not work in the Star Wars crossover. This will contain a bit of coarse language, but that's because it's based on my real group. I've just modified how we act a little. Elato19 is not actually part of the group. I haven't spoken to her in forever and that's probably not her username. Enjoy. Chapter 1, Night Fury Chris. Minecast Chris's POV. I banded as I rode my bike up a small hill. Normally riding my bike doesn't take any energy, but since my tires are really flat right now, it is making me exhausted. I suppose I should introduce myself. My name is Chris. People are probably more used to me saying g'day casters. My name's Chris. I'm here with Star Wars, T, Lion, OC, and Alyssa, and today, we are back in Minecraft, or something like that, and right now, I'm riding my bike with my adopted sister down a pathway she had found going through the bush. That adopted sister being Alyssa. That's a story for another time though. Alyssa looked back at me and saw how tired I was. You wanna stop for a drink or something? I nodded and we laid our bikes on the side of the path, and got some water out of Alyssa's bag. Crash. What the fuck was that? I asked. I have no idea, replied Alyssa. We hid our bikes in some bushes and headed towards the sound. This does not look good, I said as we saw some knocked down trees. Looks like a plane crash but I didn't hear an explosion, replied Alyssa. We walked further, following the destruction until we came to a clearing, but we hid behind some big trees because what we saw was not what we expected. Why does that look like a Night Fury from How to Train Your Dragon? Alyssa asked. That's what I was wondering, I replied. We came out from behind the trees and saw that, whatever it was dangled up in some vines and, looking closely, we saw that it looked exactly the same as Toothless from the first movie. What the hell? It's exactly like Toothless, I said, but Toothless obviously heard me, as he growled, making us jump back. He's alive, said Alyssa, bluntly. He can't move with the vines trapping him, but I don't have a knife on me. Fortunately I do, said Alyssa. Okay, now I'm scared. Why the hell would you have a knife? This is Australia. People don't run around with knives in their pockets. I accidentally dropped it in my pocket and forgot about it. She gave me the knife. You do the honors, you're just scared. Don't tell me you aren't. She was right. I was pretty scared. I approached the dragon and started to cut the vines. I cut the last vine and suddenly, it sprung up and held me against a tree. Why is How to Train Your Dragon being remade in front of me? Wow, you definitely look like Toothless, I said as I noticed his green eyes. How do you know my name? Wait a second. Did you just friggin' talk? What are you talking about? Asked Alyssa. Toothless, since apparently it was him, let go of me and backed off. You understand me? He said. Apparently, I replied. Are you actually talking to him? Alyssa asked. Yeah, I can apparently understand him. By the way, if you're Toothless, where is Hiccup? This sent the Night Fury running around trying to find his best friend. I think I found him, shouted Alyssa. That's him all right, I said, coming over to where she was standing, behind a bush. He's alive, I said, trying to listen to his heartbeat. Toothless, give him a roar, that ought to wake him up. Toothless let out a really loud roar that made us cover our ears. Okay, that was loud, I said, shaking my head, trying to get rid of the headache he had just given me. Elato19's POV. Hiccup jumped up when he heard Toothless roar. Okay, that was loud, said Chris, shaking his head. Who are you? Asked Hiccup. When I saw Chris was preoccupied, trying to get rid of his headache, I piped up, I'm Alyssa. Some people call me Elle, or Ellie. The kid trying to get rid of a headache over there is Chris, I said, pointing to Chris, and giggling. My name is Hiccup. We know. Well, explain later, said Chris, giving up on his headache. Just then, Chris fell to the floor and looked like he was trying to scream, but no sound came out. Chris I yelled going over to him, but backing off when he started to grow wings and a tail that looked much like Toothless. What's happening to him? I asked. I don't know. It's as if he's turning into a dragon, replied Hiccup, and he was right. Chris now had grown dark blue scales and his face had changed to look like Toothless. Soon he stopped squirming in pain. He's a Night Fury, I said, barely able to talk. Slowly, Chris opened his eyes, and they had managed to stay the brown that they were as a human, making the only difference to Toothless, except for the fact that his tail fin wasn't busted up. What just happened? Asked Chris. I jumped, because I wasn't expecting him to talk. Mate, you just turned into a Night Fury, I told him. Now it was his turn to jump. Whoa, I'm a dragon. Yeah, just look at yourself. He looked at his dragon body and, without warning, took off into flight. Once he came back down, he said, "Holy shit, that was freaking amazing." He looked at Toothless. "Lol, thanks mate," he said. "Wait, what did he say?" asked Hiccup. "He said I did pretty good for my first time flying." "That's true, better than me when I tried to control Toothless for the first few times." We started laughing. "Where is Astrid and the others?" asked Hiccup. You and Toothless both said that at the same time. "I don't know where they are. We only heard one crash," said Chris, laughing at first, but then becoming serious. "Well, before I crashed, I saw them heading down as well," replied Hiccup. "Well, let's go find them." Hiccup nodded and mounted Toothless. I sighed and jumped onto Chris's back. "In case of an emergency, there are exits to your left and right. Please keep your arms and legs and all personal belongings inside the wingspan at all times." "Thank you again for choosing Night Fury Airlines," said Chris. I laughed and held on tight as we went into the air. "This is so awesome," I thought to myself as we flew through the air and over Mt. Gungan. "Down there, I see Stormfly," I said. Chris looked at Toothless, who nodded his head. I held on because, hey, this was Chris we were talking about, and I was right, because the next moment, we were plummeting down to Earth at max speed. "Calm down, Toothless," I heard Hiccup yell over the rushing wind. Just before we hit the trees, the two Night Furies spread their wings and went back to gliding perfectly. "That was close," I said to Chris. He just laughed to himself and landed in the clearing in which I had spotted Stormfly. Minecast Chris's path. I landed in another clearing and saw Stormfly on the edge of it. "Toothless, you go see if Stormfly's alright, just to be safe. I prefer to be alive this Christmas," I said to Toothless. He just laughed and did what I told him. I went to where Astrid was laying on the ground, also unconscious. "You have the honors this time, Chris," said Toothless. "Gladly," I replied, smiling. I roared almost as loud as Toothless had, and Astrid shot up, almost hitting me in the face. I turned away to not get hit. "Toothless?" she asked. I turned around, and apparently blinked at the same time. But when she saw my eyes, "Wait, you're not Toothless." "No, I'm not Toothless," I said as I showed my teeth. The others burst into laughter. "Not what I meant," replied Astrid, giggling a little. "Lol, no, Toothless is over there," I said, using my nose to point to where Toothless was standing with Stormfly. Then I managed to turn back into human form, and she gasped, "I'm Chris." "Lol, why you just changed into a human?" "Lol, where? I'm apparently half dragon." I painfully changed back into a dragon and Alyssa got on my back again. "Let's go find your other friends," I said as I flew into the air. Toothless and Stormfly followed once their Viking owners had gotten on them. It wasn't long before we spotted everyone else. They had somehow crashed in the same area. "Why is it that you two are always separate from them?" I asked. "I'm trying to figure that out myself," answered Astrid. We swooped down and me and Toothless landed on a small ledge and stood beside each other diagonally with Alyssa and Hiccup standing beside in front of us. Stormfly got the other dragons up and we decided to give the Vikings an awesome view of us on the ledge by lining them up facing us. Their dragons roared at them and they shot up like Hiccup and Astrid. First thing they saw was two Night Furies looking down at them. "Why are there two Night Furies?" asked not loud. I laughed as I turned back into a human. "What the hell?" they said in unison. We started laughing again and explained what had happened. "Oh, that's really weird," said Fishlegs. "Let's head to our house and we can talk there," I said. "I want to try something. If this fails, you'll just squash me on the ground. If it works, it'll be awesome," I whispered to Alyssa. I started giving her a piggyback, which was tough as a human since I wasn't strong, and I ran to the edge of the ledge and jumped, changed into a dragon, and just before I hit the ground, flew away. "Okay, that was pretty epic," said Alyssa. "Lol, thanks Elle." The other dragons followed me as we flew back over Mungan and I swooped down to grab our bikes. After successfully picking up the bikes, I flew home. "Look who's here," I said, as I looked down and saw T out the back trying to use the RC helicopter. "I wonder if he's figured out that it's impossible to take the thing off on the grass." Alyssa laughed and we went straight up, flew over the clouds, and came back down and landed on the driveway. I turned into a human and told the others to stay here while me and Alyssa put our bikes in the shed. "Hey guys," said T as we came around the corner. "Hey mate," I said. "Where did you go?" "Well, we went for a ride and the dragon inside Chris decided to show itself," replied Alyssa, grinning. "Wait, do you mean the fact that Chris is a dragon on the Chinese horoscope thing?" We looked at each other and grinned. "You'll see," was all we said. We put our bikes in the shed and came back out. "Hey T, wanna meet some new friends?" I asked. "Sure," I grinned as he followed us around the corner. "What the fuck? Why are there dragons on your driveway?" "They are not the only dragons around here," said Alyssa. Bugsy1 Ninja's Pov. "They are not the only dragons around here." What does she mean by that? But I soon understood when Chris transformed into a dragon. "Holy fuck," I said. "What's the matter? Never seen someone change into a Night Fury?" asked Chris, laughing to himself. I just stood there, frozen. "No T, it's not frozen. It's how to train your dragon," said Alyssa, laughing her head off. shut up, was all I could say. Here, T, I'll take you for the ride of your life if you want to, said Chris, walking over to me. You mean, you want me to ride you? Yeah, but that sounded kinda wrong. Lol, I rolled my eyes when I got what he meant. What the heck? Let's go, I said, ignoring what he had said. I climbed onto his back. Hold on tight, it's gonna be a rough ride. I couldn't tell if he was being sarcastic about what I had said earlier, or if he was serious. I decided that he was serious and was glad I did. We shot up into the air at a really high speed and flew above the clouds. Hey, I can see the top of Tibrog again, I yelled, because I didn't think he would be able to hear me. Oh wow, awesome, and by the way, no need to yell, my animal hearing is pretty sensitive, he replied. I almost fell off when the other night Fury flew past it with one of the strangers and Alyssa on it. She laughed as I tried to catch my balance. Sorry, said the stranger with Alyssa, also laughing. I swear I could even hear Chris chuckling to himself. We dove back down and landed in the backyard. That was awesome, I said, as Chris turned back into a human. Screw Minecast Chris. You can call me Night Fury Chris from now on, he said, laughing. Hope you enjoyed that. It was a bit longer and I'm starting to think that having a character that can talk to other characters that don't usually talk is going to be pretty signature. Lol. Minecast Chris. CH1 of 9 next. Review. Char. email. Facebook. Twitter. Story. Follow favorite. Author. Follow favorite. Contrast. Dark. Light. Font. Small. Medium. Large. XL. Desktop tablet mode. Blog. Twitter. Help. Sign up.